Ken Babby and Patrick Zalewski and our guy Grover. I love that these people want to try to push this thing forward quickly, right? Like that is, I think, important.
And by the way, just because they don't get it done by 2029, what we heard the other day and what we've heard from St. Pete Mayor Ken Welch, who I think has done really an awesome job throughout this entire process, all the way all the way through when the deal fell through, of like just making sure they stay in the Bay Area. And also he's working now. He's got a whole retool. They got to do that redevelopment of that area, not including the Rays and a ballpark in it. But it seems that they are pretty open to having negotiations to allowing the Rays to extend the lease if they need to while they're building a ballpark. And that's going to be so important to keeping the Rays here if we don't believe they're going to meet that 2029 timeline.
It makes sense, too, when you think about it for St. Petersburg, right? Like, they're spending money to fix the Trop, to fix the roof for the Trop. Like, they've paid for, I don't know if it's all of it or part of it, but they've paid for a lot of it. There's a lot of money spent from St. Pete, and I can remember the exact number off the top of my head, but a lot of money spent on making sure that building gets back up and running for this year.
Let's be fair about it, though. They were the ones that dropped the ball, kind of, if you want to look back on whoever didn't extend that insurance, because that was the story, was that,
yeah, you're right.
They took back and that's why you got foot with the bill. But you make a good point. But on the flip side of that, like, they want to get that development moving. They want to turn that into an area, and that's still the dreams that Ken Welch has for that area, that redevelopment of that Tropicana land.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really fully redevelop it until you get rid of Tropicana Field.
But there's plenty of stuff around it.
Absolutely.
That's going to take years and years, that whole redevelopment.
They'll make the Trop the last step.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think a lot of people won't mind that either, right? Like, if you're part of that development, if you're, say, moving into the area, you're probably not bummed out that baseball is going to be in your backyard for a couple years before they end up doing whatever they end up doing with that area. So at the end of the day, I think it overall is a very good thing, but it makes sense for St. Petersburg to me. If you're going to spend all that money to get the building back up and running, why not have the Rays for as long as you can, and then allow them to go to Tampa where they belong?
Yeah, but $2.3 billion, it's a way bigger price tag, and that's what we saw reported by Colleen Wright from the Tampa Bay Times. A way bigger price tag, more than $1 billion more than what we had seen in St. Petersburg.
It's very interesting, too, because Mayor Castor was asked about that by Colleen Wright, and she said, "I wouldn't confirm or deny that. We are in a negotiation," talking about some of the behind closed doors conversations that are happening when it comes to the ballpark. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of appetite Tampa has for paying for probably half. Wouldn't you imagine the Rays are going to look for probably half of a redevelopment like that? It's, we've been told in the past that they didn't have immediate money for those kind of things, and I just wonder how much that has changed and whether or not they're going to be able to slide some kind of tax through to get it done.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you foot that bill? I mean, and I know this, we could go round and round on this, but to think about $1 billion for the redevelopment of that area and how much money we spend on random crap that is meaningless, that is useless.
I say that all the time, right?
And you think $1 billion in the long run, yeah, it's a lot of money, but in the long run, and you got to think about what St. Petersburg was going to do, and hopefully Mayor Welch and everyone involved in those early negotiations and the plan that they came up with can help them out with, hey, this is how you can, and they know how to do this as well. And, Hillsborough County Commission, and you got to find ways to allocate funds, but also extend things where you can stretch it out for years, and it's not something that's just up front. You find ways to make the money in the long run.
I think you and I look at this whole project, ballpark and beyond, as a very much net positive for the city. Right?
Baseball in Tampa in general, just like there, is net positive.
But you're right? Just the baseball alone would be a net positive. If you just plopped a ballpark there and nothing else, it's a net positive. But being what it is going to be, what the vision is, at least from this ownership group, that is an even greater net positive for the area. So I'm with you, and my thought process is just like yours. Why wouldn't you want to do this? But remember, politicians rely on public sentiment. That is kind of their currency in a way. And I've looked at some of the replies to some of these type of articles on, and obviously social media is usually the extreme on all ends, right? But I've looked at a lot of the replies to some of these articles on social media, Facebook, X, and I'm seeing a lot of people going, F you. I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people do not, and I hate it.
I'm not one of those people.
I'm with you. I totally disagree. I'll, tax me whatever way you have to. I mean, within reason. And we're not talking about people coming after you, your property taxes or any of that stuff. It's bed taxes or whatever, a penny tax here or there. Do that to me all day long if it means a ballpark for our city. And again,
the bed tax doesn't impact you at all.
No, I know that. But I'm saying a penny tax here. There are other ways that they could
add. The bed tax is, and we should do. I mean, anybody that's coming in, any tourists that come in, when we talk about hotels and specific whatever, I don't want to act like I know everything that goes into the bed tax, but find ways, manipulate it. As I've said before, money is not real. There are, the amount of money that gets thrown around, especially in government, it's just not real.
I know.
Find ways to get it done, and in the long run, we're all going to benefit from it. The entire city will benefit from it.
There's, not that we're going to get into any kind of politics, but there's reporting about one city that's lost billions and billions and billions of dollars to fraud, and it's happening all over the damn country. Let's lose a couple billions of dollars to a ballpark that isn't fraud, but is wonderful for our community.